Hi, everyone. It's December 3rd, 2024. For us Greeks, Friday is St. Nicholas Day or Santa Claus Day. It's a big day in Greece, not as big as St. Mary, but or Mother Mary. But today we're in the week of St. Nicholas. So it kind of reminds us of Christmas, of the new year. It's just the beginning of December. Really, we're only at the third, and a lot of people are experiencing the sluggishness of this time of year. Somebody in the group brought up everything's rushing and speedy, and I'm not really tuning into that. I'm tuning into slowness. I think what might be considered rushing and speedy is because the body is starting to slow down with the weather. I even think of it as my molecules are vibrating at a slower rate as I get closer and closer to the 21st of December, where we're going to have winter come in the northern hemisphere and southern. In the southern hemisphere, it'll be summer. I know it just feels like everything is really, really slowing down. So if people have a lot to do, it's going to look like they're moving quickly, and there'll be like a disharmonic, sort of a strident, depending on how you see things. Sometimes I hear things as a noise. So when somebody needs to slow down and they're moving really quickly, I can hear this shriek in my ear. So it's happening right now. So to me, it seems like some people on this planet are moving faster than the season, month, and moon cycle provide. If you're one of those people, you might feel a stress or an anxiousness from the heart moving down to the superior portion of the stomach and then going down into uh, probably three-quarters of a way into the stomach. So this can also be experienced as a stressor or a pressure on the heart, diaphragm. Even even my voice is quite weak, feeling this pressure. And the next part could lead to anxiousness. Now, as I trace that, and I'm really experiencing this strident noise, high piercing noise that is us as humans and our minds working against the moon cycle and the seasonal cycle. As soon as I do seasonal, it's even worse when it comes to the season. And I just feel this pressure on the lungs. So if that's you, start meditating, start slowing your mind down. As Nisargadatta Maharaj said, there is no need to push life about. We don't need to effort. There's no effort required at all. And the more we realize, we understand right down to a cellular level, we don't need to effort, then when action is needed, it'll just happen. The body will just do it. And what's so important about that? You might say, well, what's the point of that? Well, we have a limited supply of energy. We're born with ancestral chi. We're born with ancestral chi. It comes from our lineage, it comes from our parents and their parents. And we're born with a finite quantity. And we want to keep that quantity for as long as we possibly can. The minute it's finished, we die. So we don't want it to get used for daily things like worry, daily things like pushiness, daily things like stress. You don't want it to be used for that. You want that chi to be used for emergencies. Like, let's say you fall into ill health and you need surgery or recovery time. That's when you can use this chi, or there's an accident, whatever. You don't want to be using it on a daily basis. On a daily basis, you want to be using the the energy that comes in through your eyes, through your cells, through your oxygen, through your food, through your water. That's the energy you want to use on a daily basis. So everything you drink, eat, light coming in, gets stored in your kidneys, and you want to use that. Then you go to sleep at night, wake up in the morning. Oh, let's do sleep patterns too. Okay, that just popped in. So a lot of people are having trouble sleeping, interruptions. Part of those interruptions are Wi-Fi, cell phones, cell towers. So to limit the amount of Wi-Fi, of course, keep your phone out of your room, switch Wi-Fi off at night. There's still a lot of stuff traveling anyway, but at least it's not right next to your head or in your house. Number two, reduce cell phone and screen time, especially if you have children. If you haven't read the book, The Anxious Generation, very good book to read. It really shows you how much kids have been rewired, especially after 2000s, between like around 2015, a little earlier. You see this uptick in rewiring of children's brains, and they're wired to, let's say, look for dopamine. So we know that if you get intermittent reinforcement, we become very, very addicted. It's not just being addicted to the pleasure of something, it's being addicted to this reinforcement that's intermittent. The phone could get you addicted to shopping. The phone can get you addicted to a game. The phone can get you addicted to many, many different things. And it's doing it on purpose, by the way. People pay a lot of money to find patterns in a program, in an app that will addict you. Okay, so even if you download a shopping app, that app is designed to addict you. Okay, so something to think about when you're looking at that phone. The light also is a problem for sleeping. So that's the first thing that came up, but also anxiety. I think there's this vibration in the body where we start to vibrate as we're next to the phone or even considering the phone. Got to remember there's consciousness and there are phones everywhere, right? Um, a lot of people will argue because they're addicted to the phone. They will make excuses for why they're answering the phone at a dinner table, or you're sitting having a conversation with someone and they answer the phone. Okay, so if somebody's sitting with you for half an hour or an hour, understand if you're spending a whole day with them, different story. But if somebody can't sit with you for half an hour without picking up their phone, there's something going on in the wiring of their brain that is addicted. What's the first thing you think when somebody picks up their phone while they're talking to you? Just think for a moment. They're absolutely dismissing you. You are dismissed. Now they'll tell you, no, I'm not. I have to take this call, et cetera, et cetera. If you have to take the call, go back to work. Say my break's over, go back to work. But if you can't sit for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour without checking your phone, which people are doing all the time, yeah, there's a bit of an issue going on. So our relationships are reduced. That means we're having a lot more alone time with this thing that addicts us. So imagine how many people have sleep that's off. Now you could say, oh, I don't touch my phone. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's happening to you anyway because this consciousness is around. So if you're not sleeping, please turn off your phone and make sure you're spending a lot of time, let's say, reading a book, going for a walk, enjoying your life, enjoying your day, breathing. Just get away from screens. All right, let's take a deep breath and really do a blessing on the entire planet that we can move away and help kids move away from screens because it's extremely addictive. It's even worse for girls than it is for boys in many ways because boys will seek out different information online, whereas girls will seek out, things about shopping and how they look and these filters, whereas boys are looking for information, very different, unless they get too addicted to video games. All right, so all of that's in our consciousness. I can already feel it just kind of unraveling, even just sharing this with everyone, it kind of unravels from the chest. There's also um, there's this weird thing that's coming up about our ability to communicate with other people. It's not even ability. That's the wrong word. It's not ability. It is what we communicate, the content of our communication, the content. Just let's hold on to that a moment, our content. Now, it's great when you hang around with people that have the same content as you. So if you want to talk about movie stars, fine, have a good time. I don't necessarily think we need to care about what that content is for the purposes of this session. But for the people who are having difficulty because the content is not giving them meaning or purpose in life, we need to have meaning, right? Now, if talking about movie stars gives you meaning, fantastic, have a good time with that. But there are a lot of people who struggle either with groups of people that don't have meaning in their content, or the capacity to critically think and think over things. Um, those people struggle quite a bit and can isolate. And yeah, we don't want people isolating like that. So necessarily, we want people to be able to find each other. I'm trying to figure out what this is exactly trying to tell me, but I think it has to do a lot with all of the ways in which we've been isolated through technology and through something that happened many years ago that I started these sessions about, which I'm not going to say out loud because I don't want to be, stricken again. But I think you can guess what I was trying to support the planet with. And we're going to look at uh, the ability for our immune system to withstand people, content, and be able to seek out what we need and also strengthen the immune system. I know this might sound confusing, but all we're doing here is looking at our relationship with ourselves and with others, what we're able to talk about, and where those boundaries begin and end for people without having a screen or a phone or social media telling us that's my boundary. It's to become a little bit more in tune with what's going on within ourselves. And that's going to help the immune system, especially with, changes in seasons and all the viruses that come up at this point in the year. All right. Feels like that's a lot to deal with. So we're looking at the energy fields too, and how much it's almost like little holes go on in our energy field and make us more and more susceptible. So it looks like we're dealing with a lot more immune function. It's relationship immune function. So sometimes in relationship, it's just saying no or yes to things. So not just saying yes or just saying no. It is really being in tune. So that's your gastro. That's your gut brain, right? There's more and more and more and more and more information online about this brain and this brain. To function well, our gut brain has to function really, really well, which is also going to link to immune system. So if I'm hanging around with people and I don't like what they talk about, and I always feel it's kind of I'm thinking in other languages right now. Sorry. Depleted. If I feel depleted by whatever's going on, it means that my gut brain is not telling me properly what to do. Like, leave that circumstance. I know there's certain circumstances we have to be in, and we modulate for those, but we can always find different ways. Like, let's say I have a job and I don't like the people I'm hanging around with. It might be time for that gut brain to get stronger, this brain to start working and start, figuring out what my talent stack is, how many things I have in my capacity to have to work and have a job. And then I'll be strong enough if I'm eating properly, exercising, getting air, have all my talents in order, increase my talent stack, and then go out and find a new job. Because, you know, I'm kind of quoting different people. Talent stack is Scott Adams. He talks about a talent stack. Great terminology. I like it, but I've told people for years, get your talents in order, study, go back to school, go do what you need to do to make yourself viable to have a different job. It's really important for your life, for your immune system, for finding meaning in your life, for having a good life, doing all those things. The other one is, finding that meaning. Things you do need to be meaningful. And if they're not meaningful, you'll find that they're, tiring, depressing. You start blaming other people, I don't like what I'm doing, so you have to help me do what I don't like doing. You don't like what you're doing. Like, let's say you don't like that you are in your family and you're cleaning up the house. You don't like it, then go and increase your talent stack. Go figure that out. Get your talents in order. Go look for a job where you can pay somebody to clean your house. I mean, there's so many options. It doesn't require tons of money. It just requires you to be nice and focused and use your energy properly. This is all coming from your gut, brain, your immune system. You will wear out your immune system if you're doing things that you don't want to be doing. Whoa, that was huge. All right, I'm going to shake this off for a moment and then just tap it into myself because I kind of liked, I don't know exactly what I said there, but when I'm in session, it's not quite always clear to this person. But let's tap it right through. I'd really like to get some of that immune response, gut response, brain response, purpose, increasing talent stack, enjoying what you're doing. Do the things you like to do. Increase that in your life. Get out, eat properly. Let's go. Let's tap that in. Let's get that brain. There's brain in here too, by the way. There's brain tissue in your heart. The three, compassion is going to help you in so many ways. If you don't like what you're doing, that heart doesn't have compassion for you. You need to have compassion and go, okay, I don't like what I'm doing. I don't have to sit around and go, I don't like what I'm doing. I can get up, tap my heart, go out there and say, what would I love to do? And what do I need to do to get there? There are no yeah buts in any of this. There's always a solution. Okay, always, even if you don't have legs to work with. I had years of having no legs, but I kept my talent stack growing. I kept working and did what I could do so I could get my legs back. We can always succumb to yeah, but these sessions are to help us have the courage, be able to save our energy. You want to save it. You don't want to use it to be whining or pulling yourself down or thinking negatively, right? So you can imagine there are a lot of studies out there, but you can imagine. Would you think that if you think negatively, what do you think is going to happen? Aren't you going to get depressed? Right? They did a study. Did you need a study for this? If you think negatively, you're going to get depressed. Yeah, you don't need a study, but there are studies out there. So if you think positively, what's going to happen? If you think positively, I don't mean future positive, like right now, I can do it. I can find a way. I can find a solution. That kind of positive thinking, not like I'm the best or that kind of positive thinking. Not that. That's not going to do anything. I'm not going to believe it. If you tell me you're the best at what you do, I'm not going to believe you. So, and I wouldn't believe myself. But there's something I can do to become better at what I do. Yeah, sure, there's something I could do about it. Maybe read one sentence today. Maybe you don't have a computer, you don't have it, go to the library and read up on something. You can figure it out. All right. Hopefully that's good positive reinforcement for today. Remember, intermittent reinforcement is the worst, right? A lot of us learned that in the early years of psychology at university. So you could give someone positive reinforcement, doesn't do very much. Give them negative reinforcement, doesn't condition them. But you give someone negative reinforcement, then You don't give them negative reinforcement, you give them any other kind, then you give negative again, you can addict them. That's what they're using in our phones. That's what, we notice in our lives. Nothing is totally consistent, right? Nothing is, you can't sit there and tell somebody positive thoughts all day long and condition them. You won't. You won't. But if you tell somebody something positive, then tell them negative and then positive. You're going to start to condition them. Okay. So, yeah, think about what's happening to you. You do have a modicum of healthy control over your gut brain, over this brain. You can make changes. All right. So these sessions are designed to help you make those changes in your immune system. That's all in your immune system, the way you deal with people, how you deal with electronics, how you go about your life. These are things that are just beautiful. So tap it in, and we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Bye, everyone.